Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Steve's Reptile Project. Today I want to just go over, I want to have a pros and cons list for you guys of owning a snake. There was a few comments on my last video that, there was one comment saying that I feel like you kind of led us on with the name of the title and should you get a snake. So he basically was saying that I wish you kind of made a pros and cons list, and so I thought that was a great idea, and I thought that was fair. That was good advice. So I wanted to come back and I wanted to give you guys a pros and cons list of owning a snake. So pros and cons. First, we're going to start with the pros. So first pro is that they're cute and they're beautiful animals. They're very fun to look at. That alone, it's just very fun to look at. They're beautiful, different patterns depending on what morph you get. That's number one. Number two, I would say this was a big one for me, being in an apartment. They're not very loud, obviously. They're not loud animals. So you kind of forget that you have one, and that could kind of be a con. So you kind of forget that you have one. These animals are not loud. You not keep them in a corner, but you're not going to hear this. You're not going to hear this thing like a dog. Number three, the maintenance of the animal. The maintenance is so simple. You need a bin, a storage bin. You need substrate. You need a water dish, and you need a hide. The bare minimum. And then you feeding the animal. I have like a juvenile. I'm feeding him once a week, and adults, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm new to the snake game. Adults, you could be feeding once a month. And obviously a bigger mouse, or a bigger rat. So it's very easy to take care of. It's super, super easy. It's just fun to take out too. If you're having a bad day at work and you're stressed, it's almost like a stress ball. I literally tell that to people. It's a stress ball that moves around. It's like a pet rock that moves around, and it's fun to handle. Every time I take it out, I'm super happy that I own one. And I was going back and forth with my decision of finally getting one for a long time. So I'm happy I have one, and that's pretty much the pros. And now we'll go through the cons. Gotta have a pros and cons list. Gotta have the cons. So the con would be, which is a pro, it's not noisy, it's not gonna bark, it's not gonna engage you like a dog would. You're gonna forget, some people might say that you're gonna forget that you even have the animal. So that's definitely a con. Also, if you don't like the idea of handling a mouse, sometimes there's people that feed live mice, live rat. I personally don't. I feed frozen thawed mice to my snake. But if you don't like the idea of handling that, and you kind of feel bad that the mouse is dead and then you got to see it attack the mouse, then number one, a snake's not really for you. But that's definitely a con too. If you kind of have trouble with that and you're a little squeamish of the idea of the thing killing another animal, that's definitely a con too. And nothing could ever compete with a dog or a cat. If you're thinking that you want a reptile and you want to have it love you, these animals aren't going to love you. A snake's not going to love you and wait for you at the door like a dog would. That's never going to happen. It's impossible. As much as I would love to say my snake loves me, my snake doesn't love me. My snake comes out when it's hungry, when it wants to be fed, and I feed it, and it eats it, and it goes back in its hide. It might recognize me, maybe, in the future, because I'm kind of new to the whole snake thing. It might recognize my voice. I don't know. I'm new to the snake world, but that's a possibility. But it's not gonna love you like a dog or a cat would. Even, you know, it's just not gonna happen. And if you're, you know, oh, I wish the animal, the snake has love for me. No, it doesn't. It's looking for food. It wants to be left alone. You know, we're selfish. You have to be selfish when you're into reptiles, because you're not getting these reptiles to, like, these things are supposed to be in the wild. This is not supposed to be in a storage bin in your home. That's being selfish. But so you have to make sure that you have appreciation for the animal, that you love the animal even though it doesn't love you back, and you really, you know, you have to be really fascinated by these creatures, and that's probably the most important thing. But to sum up the video, I pretty much, you know, if you're into reptiles and you kind of don't know what pet to get, I would definitely recommend a ball python. I know a lot of people, like, if they're new into the reptile stuff, and they would go like into like a crested gecko or a gargoyle gecko, and that's cool too, but I just think those are kind of jumpy, and they're not as handleable as a snake would be, and I just think a snake is a much better option. And that's pretty much it. And that's my girlfriend at the door. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless you guys. Please subscribe and like my video. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.